Well, the internet's at it again. Recently there's been the news of two new models of Switch coming out later this year. There's one aimed for the avid gamer, there's one aimed for the casual gamer, and everyone's going absolutely mental about it.
Oh my god, there's a new Switch XL! Oh my god, there's a new Switch Mini! Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Stop it. Stop it right now. Now lots of you are getting overly excited over this. And that's before we even know all of the details, assuming that it's even true. A lot of people are making wild predictions about this being a new Switch XL or a new Switch Mini. I think what we need is for someone to come along and say, calm down. And hello fellow gamers. And this is my take on these rumoured new Switch models. Now, as we all know, the other week the Wall Street Journal released an article about a couple of new Switches that are in the works that are coming out later this year. Now, my first thought of hearing this news was that it was just going to be a couple of new different bundles that they released last year, like the Smash one or the Pokemon one. But you know what? As I was reading the article, I soon realised that they were talking about new Switch machines that are going to be completely different from a technical standpoint. Now, the Switch has been out for a couple of years now, and history has proven that it's around about this time in a system's lifespan that new iterations come out. I mean, heck, this isn't the first time that Nintendo have done this kind of thing. They did it with the Game Boy Advance, the DS, the DSi, and on the 3DS. Now really, all we've got at the moment is one article talking about all of this. So all of the rumours and speculation that's going about, we could be completely wrong. Now, the Wall Street Journal has reported on two different systems in the making at the moment. One that's aimed at avid gamers, and another one which is aimed more for the casual gamer. Now, going forward, I'm going to refer to the avid gamer one as the Pro version, and the casual gamer one as the light version. Does that seem to make a lot of sense to me? Now, a lot of people have gone out on a limb to predict what these two new systems are going to be, and I think that a lot of them are completely wrong. So here's my take on it. So let's start off with the light version. Let's see what's going on there. Now I'm going to start this off with this observation. The article doesn't state at all that the casual gamer system is going to be smaller. Now, it is suggested that this is going to be the successor to the aging 3DS, but making it the successor doesn't mean making it smaller, just making it cheaper, more affordable. Now, certainly one way of making it cheaper, as the article suggests, is to remove the HD rumble, or perhaps just sourcing cheaper materials for its components. I mean, that could easily explain why Sharp has been suggested as the new supplier for the screens. Maybe they undercut their last supplier somehow. Other ways they might want to cut corners on the costs is to make sure that the Joy-Con aren't detachable, which would be sacrilege, or even do away with the IR camera altogether. There might not even be a dock included with this system. I mean, there's a variation of the Switch already in Japan that has no dock, so we might see a bit more of this here. Now, even though there's absolutely no mention of this being a Switch Mini, we've got to take into account the fact that any dimension changes are going to make it incompatible with all of the accessories that are out now. Now, that could include a different dock, assuming that it is dockable, and it's not even going to be compatible with Labo, although Nintendo are probably going to just release some more cardboard in order to make it compatible, because it's not going to cost that much to make anyway. And what about connecting other Joy-Cons? We don't even know if the Joy-Cons are going to be detachable on this system or not, or if they're even going to be the same size. And if they're not, I'll tell you something, those big ass regular Joy-Cons are going to look ridiculous on that system. Now, I've heard from a few people that if the Lite system is going to have a smaller screen, it's going to have a lower resolution. But that's not necessarily the case, is it? It could be a smaller screen, but be the same resolution and therefore have a higher PPI, that is pixels per inch. So all of the graphics are going to be really crisp. And just take a look at the 3DS and the 3DS XL, and you'll see what I mean. Well, what about the Pro version? Well, we're told that it's going to have enhanced features, although they didn't really tell us anything about it, so we just have to speculate about that as well. But one thing that I do know about the Switch is that it's modular, and when it's modular, it means that components can be taken out and then replaced, and you can make it a lot better. Now, one of the suggestions that has been made for a Pro version, which has been done to death, is for the Switch to have a bigger screen. I mean, just have a look at the current one. Look at the size of the bezels on there. You could easily fit a slightly larger screen on there, probably maybe another inch, so make it about 7.5 inches. And because of the rumours of a new supplier, Sharp, that could entirely be possible. And why stop there? Why not make the screen 1080p instead of 720? I mean, we've got another rumoured supplier, Sharp, making the new screens, so they might make them 1080 instead. But don't expect all of your games to be compatible with it from the off. It's likely that some patches are going to be necessary in order to take advantage of that. So since the Pro version is meant to be aimed at avid gamers, why not stick in a faster processor? Now at the moment the Switch is running on a Tegra X1 processor, but Nvidia brought out the X2 before the Switch even came out. So maybe they could slip that in. In fact, the Modern Vintage Gamer released a video a couple of days ago showing how games could look like if the CPU and the GPU were a little bit faster. He used his homebrew system in order to do that, tweaking all the little details and whatnot. He has a lot of intelligent insights in that video, so it's worth having a look at. Wait! After this video, please. Another aspect of this they could improve is the Wi-Fi. They could make the connections on infrastructure and ad hoc connections to other switches for multiplayer games much more stable. That's going to make the multiplayer gaming scene much more enjoyable for anyone playing on Switch. And of course we can't forget all the other obvious ones like more RAM or a bigger battery. Now Nintendo are well known for doing unexpected stuff completely out of left field, and a few things that don't make a lot of sense at first. Now, if Nintendo are going to be aiming for the casual gamer, for those who have got 3DSs and 2DSs and they want to get them on board with the Switch, might I propose that they make the Lite system a clamshell. Having a clamshell means it's going to be instantly recognizable to anyone who's got a 3DS or a 2DS XL. It would be like the 2DS XL with the screen at the top, and it could be smaller than the regular Switch, but it could be inset into the top half of the system, so when you close it, it won't bash against any of the buttons or any of that. The lower half of the system would be very much like a Joy-Con grip. If they want to have the controllers detachable, you could have the rails on either side, you could slot the Joy-Con in on either side or take them out again, or if they decide not to make them detachable, just make it a solid unit. Now I bet you're thinking, aha, what about those analog sticks? They protrude from the top of the Joy-Con. Well, they could replace them with the flat ones that are on the 2DS XL and on the 3DS. That means that they won't be hitting the screen when you close it up shut, and it would be a nice clear indicator to anyone who uses a Switch exactly where these Joy-Cons came from. They would have come from the Lite model. That means that it won't have HD rumble, they might not have an IR camera or any other gubbins like that. And of course, having that kind of design would fix a problem that a lot of people have had with the regular Switch, which is the kickstand. If it was made into a clamshell design, you could just slide the Joy-Con out, open it up and just plonk it down and it'll just stay there. No problem. So the Pro version, that's got to be the XL version, hasn't it? It's got to have a bigger screen and everything like that. But actually, my prediction is quite different. Now the Pro model, they say they are aiming at avid gamers. But what is the avid gamer today? The avid gamer often plays online. They often even compete in tournaments, in competitions. They also want to be able to have the biggest screen real estate they can possibly get. They also want to be able to have the fastest processor. They often want to have low latency and everything like that. So what better way to do that than with a dedicated home console? Now I know that sounds completely wacky, but hear me out. When you've got a dedicated home system, you don't need to worry about it ever being on a battery. Just take whatever power comes from the wall. That means it can take full advantage of all of the power that it gets without having to compromise. With a dedicated home system, it could be a little bigger. It could have dedicated Ethernet for all of you online gamers out there. And of course it could come with the usual gubbins of having a faster processor like the Tegra X2 or having more RAM, which is going to make the whole process a lot smoother. Now with a dedicated system, of course, you wouldn't have rails down the sides for your Joy-Cons to snap into. In fact, it might not even come with Joy-Con. It might even come with a Pro Controller as standard. In fact, you wouldn't even have to worry about a dock. It could even be very much like the Nintendo Switch's nearest neighbour, the Nvidia Shield. But of course, all of this is down to speculation because we've got very little detail at the moment. Well, what do you think? Do you think Nintendo are going to be bringing out a couple of new Switch systems later this year? Or do you think it's a load of hooey? Let me know down below in the comments. But nonetheless, I'm not going to take you away from your gaming any longer. I'll see you later. Thank you so much for watching the vid, guys. Liked it? Disliked it? If you've got a second, let me know how you felt down below. And while you're down there, if you want to see more of what I have to offer, go ahead and subscribe. I've got loads more ideas for future videos and I wouldn't want you to miss out. Oh, and here's all the other social media goblins as well. Thanks again for watching, and you have yourself a great day. Hello, Zach. How you doing? See if I can pick you up. This is Zachy Pose. He's so cute.